section 4.3 is titled Simplifying Algebraic Expressions. So our standard is 7AF1. This is in the algebra and function section, but basically being able to apply the properties of operations to create equivalent linear expressions. Also ones that involve factoring and being able to justify each step. This will include the distributive property, which we've now talked about as well. So we have 4 definitions today, and these are really important. So the first one is a term. And a term is a part of an algebraic expression that's separated by addition or subtraction signs. Remember, algebraic expressions will involve letters. A coefficient is the numerical part of a term that has a variable. So for example, if you have 6x, the 6 is the coefficient. Like terms are terms that contain the same variables. So for example, 6x and 2x. Those would be like terms because they both have an x. However, something like 2y and 4x, those are not like terms because one has a y and one has an x. A constant is the term without the variable. So if you had 6x plus 3, this 3, that's the constant because it doesn't have a variable attached to it. So we're going to look at some examples where we do some identifying. So here we're asked to identify the like terms in each expression. So please make sure you copy the expressions into your notes. So for number 1, we have 3x plus 4y plus 4x. And the like terms are terms that have the same variable. So we have 3x and 4x. So 3x and 4x are the like terms. For number 2, we have 2 terms that have x's. So like terms 5x and 7x. But then we also have constants. So we have 2 constants. I'll underline them twice, the 3 and the 4. So also 3 and 4. Those are also like terms. Notice that I use a comma to kind of separate them because I don't want to get confused that 3x or that 5x, 7x, 3 and 4 are all like terms together because they're not. On example 3, you're asked to identify the terms, the like terms, the coefficients, and the constants that are in that expression. So what we have is 6x minus 2y plus x minus 5. So we're going to label terms, so there are several of them, like terms, and in your homework I write these words out for you and give you some space. Coefficients, and also constants. So the terms are everything that's separated by addition and subtraction signs. What you need to recognize or understand is that when a number has a subtraction sign in front of it, it actually means that it's negative. So our terms are 6x, negative 2y, x, and negative 5. So there are 4 terms in this expression. The like terms are 6x and x. Those are the only 2 terms that could be combined or put together. Coefficients, anything in front of an x. So we have 6, we have negative 2, and be very careful here. Remember that in front of this x there's also a 1, even though we don't write it. Finally, our constants are any numbers or any terms that don't have a variable, so that's negative 5. A couple more vocab terms, simplest form and simplifying an expression. An expression is in simplest form when there are no like terms and no parentheses. So that means you've done the distributive property and you've cleaned up or combined everything you possibly could. When you simplify the expression, you're going to use the distributive property, combine like terms, or simplify, or just combine like terms. So there won't always be a distributive property, but sometimes there will be. So in the next several examples, that's what we will be doing, is simplifying each expression. So we have 4x plus 6 plus 2x. And oftentimes what I like to do is go through the problem first and underline or circle or box any terms that are similar or the same. So we have 4x and 2x. Those two things can be combined. If I have 4x and I add 2 more x's, I have 6x. Then the last part of the expression is tacking on the plus 6 because I can't combine anything with that. This expression has now been simplified. I can't do anything further. On number 5, we have 5n plus 2 minus n minus 6. So 5n minus n, and be very careful with the signs here. That subtraction sign goes with this n. It's almost like saying negative 1n. So if you have 5 n's and you subtract 1n, you have 4n. And then we have positive 2 and minus 6. So positive 2 minus 6, that's negative 4 or minus 4. So our final expression here simplified is 4n minus 4. Again, these two terms cannot be combined because they are not like terms. And there's one more example, 6y minus 3 times the quantity of x minus 2y. So we have a distributive property here, and oftentimes students will go right here and say, well, negative or 6y minus 2y, but you can't do that. You have to distribute first. So I'm going to write that, must distribute first. This actually isn't a minus 2y, you'll find out in a second. So when we distribute, you have 6y, a negative 3, remember this is negative, times that x. That's minus 3x or negative 3x. Now we have a negative in front of the 3, a negative in front of the 2. Negative times negative is going to give us a positive. 3 times 2, so you get 6y. So we have 6y minus 3x plus 6y. So you can see how if you initially had tried to do 6y minus 2y, that wouldn't be correct because it's not really a minus 2y. It's actually a plus 6y after you distribute. So combining like terms, 6y plus 6y is 12y, and we bring along the minus 3x. So 6y minus 3x. In class, we'll work on a worksheet to practice.